This is a short tutorial about your brain on anxiety and stress. It's essential to know how our brain responds to the stimuli which triggers an anxiety response so that you are equipped to deal appropriately with anxiety. Let me highlight the key areas of your brain that are involved, and then I'll explain what happens inside the brain. The thalamus is the central hub for sights and sounds, and the thalamus breaks down incoming visual cues by size, shape and colour, and auditory cues by volume and dissonance, and then signals the cortex. The cortex then gives raw sights and sounds meaning, enabling you to be conscious of what you are seeing and hearing. The prefrontal cortex is vital to turning off the anxiety response once the threat has passed. The amygdala is the emotional core of the brain, whose primary role is to trigger the fear response. Information passing through the amygdala is associated with an emotional significance. The bed nucleus of the striatal terminals is particularly interesting when we discuss anxiety. While the amygdala sets off an immediate response of fear, the bed nucleus of the striatal terminals perpetuates the fear response, causing longer-term unease typical of anxiety. The locus coeruleus receives signals from the amygdala and initiates the classic anxiety response: rapid heartbeat, increased blood pressure, sweating, and pupil dilation. The hippocampus is your memory centre, storing raw information from the senses along with emotional baggage attached to the data by the amygdala. Now we know these key parts. What happens when we are anxious, stressed, or fearful? Anxiety, stress, and fear are triggered primarily through your senses. Sight and sound are first processed by the thalamus, filtering incoming cues and sent directly to the amygdala or the cortex. Smell and touch, however, go directly to the amygdala, bypassing the thalamus altogether, which is why smell often evokes very powerful memories. Any cues from your incoming senses that are associated with a threat in the amygdala, whether the threat is real or not, current or in the past, are immediately processed to trigger the fear response. This is the expressway. It happens before we consciously feel the fear. The hypothalamus and pituitary gland cause the adrenal glands to pump out high levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Too much cortisol short-circuits the cells of the hippocampus, making it difficult to organise the memory of a trauma or a stressful experience. Memories lose context and become fragmented. The body's sympathetic nervous system shifts into overdrive, causing the heart to pump blood faster, blood pressure to rise, and lungs to hyperventilate. Perspiration increases, and skin's nerve endings tingle, causing goosebumps. As your senses become hyper-alert, this can freeze you momentarily as you drink in every detail. Adrenaline floods to the muscles, preparing you to fight or run away. The brain shifts focus from digestion to focus on the potential dangers, which is why anxiety, stress and fear long-term can cause loss of appetite or other stomach problems. Only after the fear response has been activated does the conscious mind kick in. Some sensory information takes a more thoughtful route from the hypothalamus to the cortex, and the cortex decides whether the sensory information warrants a fear response. And if the fear is genuine threat in space and time, the cortex signals the amygdala to continue being on alert.